Roundup, other weedkillers, and pesticides may cause cancer. I am giving you a summary first, as the video is too long. Glyphosate, weed killer and carcinogen controversy. Glyphosate is a widely used herbicide, best known as the active ingredient in the popular weed killer Roundup. Roundup is one of the most well-known herbicides containing glyphosate, produced by the company Monsanto, now owned by Bayer. Then other ones may include Ortho Ground Clear, Rodeo, Touchdown Total, Aquamaster, Cornerstone Plus, Accord XRT2, Patriot Herbicide, Ranger Pro, Honcho Plus and many more. Why the settle some class action out of court if there is no basis for danger remains a mystery. Its widespread use in agriculture and home gardens makes it the most commonly used herbicide globally. It has been marketed under different brand names. Best option is if you can grow some vegetables and fruits at home. There are no definitive evidence on whether it causes cancer or not. It works by disrupting an enzyme needed for plant growth, effectively killing them. Brief history of glyphosate. 1970s, Monsanto chemist John France discovers glyphosate's herbicidal properties. 1974, Monsanto introduces Roundup, with glyphosate as its active ingredient. 1981, internal Monsanto documents raise concerns about potential carcinogenicity in mammals. 1985, US EPA initially classifies glyphosate as a possible human carcinogen of Group C, based on animal studies. 1991, EPA reverses its classification, deeming glyphosate unlikely to cause cancer in humans. 1994, 2000, Monsanto develops and patents genetically modified crops resistant to glyphosate, increasing its use. 2015, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC, part of the World Health Organization, classifies glyphosate as probably carcinogenic to humans, of Group 2A. 2016 to present, ongoing debate and legal battles with lawsuits against Monsanto, later Bayer, alleging its link to cancer, particularly non-Hodgkin lymphoma. 2020, Bayer settles majority of lawsuits for over $10 billion. 2023, research continues, with conflicting findings from various studies. Can glyphosate cause cancer? The question of whether glyphosate causes cancer remains highly controversial. Here's the current landscape. US EPA considers glyphosate not likely to be carcinogenic to humans based on their review of data. EU Commission, similar conclusion, finding no evidence of genotoxicity or carcinogenicity. IARC maintains its classification of glyphosate as probably carcinogenic. IARC is the specialized cancer agency of the World Health Organization. Conflicting studies. Some studies suggest a link between glyphosate exposure and cancer, while others find no such association. Methodological issues. Many studies have limitations. More studies are needed to clarify the link. The description page will have some links to research on the subject. Countries banning glyphosate. While no country has completely banned glyphosate, some have instituted restrictions. Sri Lanka banned all glyphosate-based herbicides in 2015, but later reversed the decision under pressure from various sources. Vietnam banned its use in 2019, but later reversed the decision under pressure. EU member states, some individual member states like France and Germany have restricted its use on public property. Some research says people exposed to weedkiller chemical have cancer biomarkers in urine. Study. The study measured glyphosate in urine and found high levels associated with signs of oxidative stress. The authors of the paper include 10 scientists from the National Institutes of Health and 2 from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention (CDC), concluded that their study contributes to the weight of evidence supporting an association between glyphosate exposure and oxidative stress in humans. Monsanto and Bayer remain mired in litigation brought by tens of thousands of cancer patients who claim exposure to Roundup caused them to develop non-Hodgkin lymphoma. The company has already agreed to pay out more than $11 billion to settle the bulk of the claims, without admitting any liability, but many cases have not settled and civil trials are continuing. Does glyphosate cause cancer? Glyphosate is the active ingredient in many herbicides, or weed killers. Since its invention in 1974, the chemical has been used in hundreds of commercial and industrial products. And the development of more herbicide-tolerant crops has resulted in a huge increase in the use of glyphosate on the nation's farms. Health effects of herbicides and its current removal strategies. Excessive use over time has accumulated its occurrence in the environment and subsequently rendered it one of the emerging contaminants of concern. This review highlights the sources and classification of herbicides and their fate in the environment, with a special focus on the effects on human health and methods to remove herbicides. The human health impacts discussion was in relation to toxic effects, cell disruption, carcinogenic impacts, negative fertility effects, and neurological impacts. The removal treatments described herein include physiochemical, biological, and chemical treatment approaches, and advanced oxidation processes (AOPs). Also, alternative, green, and sustainable treatment options were discussed to shed insight into effective treatment technologies for herbicides. To conclude, this review serves as a stepping stone to a better environment with herbicides. Glyphosate exposure and urinary oxidative stress biomarkers in the agricultural health study. Glyphosate is the most widely applied herbicide worldwide, and its use has been associated with increased risks of certain hematopoietic cancers in epidemiologic studies. Animal and in vitro experiments suggest that glyphosate may induce oxidative stress, a key characteristic of carcinogens. However, evidence in human populations remains scarce. We investigated associations between glyphosate exposure and urinary oxidative stress biomarkers in the Biomarkers of Exposure and Effect in Agriculture study, a molecular epidemiologic subcohort in the Agricultural Health study. You, yourself need to be careful. Grow at least some vegetables and fruits at home. I am skeptical about the so-called organic foods. I don't have enough money to buy them. The debate surrounding glyphosate and its potential carcinogenicity is complex and ongoing. While regulatory agencies like the EPA and EU Commission continue to deem it safe, the IARC classification and ongoing research keep the discussion alive. The best approach is to stay informed about updates and make informed decisions based on your individual risk assessment and comfort level. Do not forget to click the like button and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching this video. Up above you see a video related to health. It will be more helpful to you and your family. Subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.